this, I realized that my sacrifice...
Listen, I haven't lived in America in over 4 years, and I've noticed so many things that even to this day that kind of make me realize how badly America messed me up mentally. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, like I was thinking one way for a long time, and after traveling, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is how things really are. And I have a few examples of that. Of course, I've used one of the main examples of me traveling to Germany for the first time and thinking that something that exploded next to me was something that was not a firework, but it turned out to just be a Polish firework that resembled something that I thought was... Of course, for monetizable reasons, I can't say what I thought it was, but you guys can make the inference. But there's been many other things that I thought were a thing, and they really weren't out here while I traveled and stuff. And one of the main things, I have a really funny story time. Of course, here in South Korea, it's not really a thing for you to tip and stuff. You don't tip when you go to restaurants, and America has this very toxic tipping culture, right? Like if you don't tip when you go to a restaurant, people will literally spit in your food. They'll treat you like garbage. If you ever come back to that establishment again, they basically silently blacklist you. So they give you the worst experience ever the next time you come through. It's really toxic. It's super toxic. So of course, people tip out of the fear of being possibly mistreated and stuff like that. And of course, pity for the workers not getting paid enough. So out here, I brought that sentiment with me when I went to a restaurant out here. So I went to a restaurant, ate a really good meal. And at the end of it, I'm used to tipping pretty hefty and whatnot. I wound up tipping like a few $100s. And the server looked at me like I lost my rabbit ass mind. Like typically whenever I tip big, I get a lot of praise and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not looking for praise. I just genuinely enjoy the service. So I tip heavy if I think that I got really good service, and I thought I got really good service. So I tipped pretty heavy. Now, mind you, this was my first time ever being in South Korea, and I didn't know that people took it as kind of almost like an offense. Like, why are you tipping me? Like, do you think I don't get paid enough? Da da da. And I was like, oh, and then like, you know, she explained to me in the best way she possibly could without being too agitated that you don't do that. You do not do that. So I'm like, oh, that is a small, minute example of one of the moments where I realized, man, America really messed me up, because I thought like everywhere in the world would be on your head top if you did not tip, right? Or if you left like a small tip. There are going to be similar Americans and stuff in this video that are also going to be going through things where they travel and they realize, dang, America really like messed up how I think. If you guys have any experiences like that from my Americans watching this video, let me know in the comments down below how America has probably messed you up a little bit and you didn't really quite realize that until you traveled. And then for the people who watch this video who are from Europe, have you guys witnessed us act a little weird or, you know, different in your countries, your respective countries, as a result of us bringing our US defaultism to you guys' front step? Before we get started, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.
Abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Well, I could tell you about one time or seven. When I realized that after having lived in Germany for several years, I had not once been to the doctor or dentist because I thought they're hidden costs, co-pays for every visit. Nope. Or when I first ate spaghetti in front of Europeans like this, I realized that my sacrifice...
Listen, I know half of y'all had a heart attack looking at that. I've never in my life, personally, I've never cut my own spaghetti noodles when I'm eating them. I twirl them on my little fork and I bite, right? Like a normal human being. But I do remember a time where my mom would cut my spaghetti into a bunch of little micro baby pieces when I was a little kid, and it absolutely infuriated me. I'm like, why are you doing this? I don't need my spaghetti cut. I want to twirl my spaghetti around like the people do in the movies. So this right here sent a chill down my damn spine. I'm not sure if it did the same thing for you guys, but good googly moogly. This gave me a heart attack.
Religious slicing of the noodles was not just a lack of cultural awareness. It was so that I could pre-process my food so that I could eat faster and, more importantly, more, so I could stuff my gluttonous face.
Oh my God.
Twirling the noodles.
Yes, bro. You're supposed to twirl the dang noodles, my guy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God.
Or whenever I hear non-native English speakers speak impeccable English or another foreign language, I think about the time when I used to think, for about 20 years of my life, that learning a foreign language was unimportant. Like,
yes, actually. What's interesting about that, I felt the very same way. I'm like, you know what? People will just adjust to me speaking English, and if they don't, we'll just figure something out. Like, no matter where you travel, you should at least learn a few phrases so you can navigate and make your interactions a little bit better. And I think because of the mentality in the United States where it's like, okay, like everybody has to adapt to me and adjust to me, and it's all about me. When you travel to other countries, you can't operate like that. You'll find that you'll have a pretty rough experience doing so. This guy's cooking with his points.
A fun but ultimately useless party trick. Until I realized how valuable, exciting, enriching, and world-opening learning another language really is. Or when I realized that standing up to urinate means that I had been spreading my pee droplets all over my bathroom for 2 decades. Or when I realized that you can make...
Yikes, dog. To be fair, my toilet has always been separate from like wherever my sink is. Like it's far the hell away. It's normally in an entirely different room. So I get what he's saying. He is right. But I might have spared myself with the situation that I have been in.
A delicious cake, and it doesn't have to be what the Germans call a Zuckerbombe. And it's better. Who would have thought less sugar is better? Non-Americans is the answer. Or, more seriously now, when I saw the George Floyd video, I was unsurprised, completely. I was almost unmoved in comparison to my German partner, who was absolutely appalled and shocked at seeing the video. And cynically and unsympathetically, I said to her, this happens all the time in the US. It's normal. I realized in that moment just how much the US had calloused me.
I'll actually give you guys one even more recent, right? There was just a mass shooting at a college campus, Brown University, I believe in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people lost their lives. And if I'm being totally honest, most Americans don't care. Mass shootings happen so often, I'm not joking. We're all desensitized, like peak desensitized. Unless there's a body count of like 50 plus, nobody cares. They don't care. Besides the people who are directly impacted, a lot of people don't care because they happen all the time. You don't have enough time to process the deaths from a prior mass shooting because another one is currently happening as we speak. It's sad. It's very sad and disgusting, right? That we have to think like that. That we think like that in the first place. It's crazy. And I bring it up a lot in my videos. And I probably sound like a broken record, but it's because that's a reality in the United States, right? Whenever we go to other places, you know, it's funny. A lot of Americans, they'll be so quick to harp up on like, oh, well, there's like a pickpocketing epidemic in, you know, Italy and Paris. And, you know, it couldn't be me if somebody tried to pickpocket me. Like I wouldn't travel over there and stuff because obviously they're going to steal my belongings. I'm like, how do you think people feel traveling to America with all of the homicides happening and whatnot? And then the way that we deal with those homicides, like it's not like people show a shred of emotion anymore when they happen. Some people do, right? And it's typically the people who are directly impacted by it. But the vast majority, I mean, we're calloused. Like you said, we're very calloused, and it's sad.
To the topics of police brutality and racism. And I also said to her, nothing's ever going to change. That moment I realized that hopelessness is a normal reaction that many people have.
Yeah.
And let's wrap up with New Year's Eve in Germany.
Oh, wow.
Every year here, it's fireworks anarchy that goes against every German stereotype that exists. Every year, people, typically teenage boys, throw these super loud cherry bombs.
Yes, dude. Those are what I was talking about. They throw them everywhere and they sound like big old bombs, bro. Like it is scary. It is scary. I'm like, oh my God. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But it's normal. Like they be setting them off during the daytime. And I'm like, huh? In the United States, typically when people set off fireworks, it's at night. So you can see the fireworks, you know, but I guess y'all operate differently.
Every time, my gut reaction is fight or flight mode. Cortisol and adrenaline spike, anxiety and anger follow. Because when you have lost friends to gun violence, and when you have good friends who are survivors of a mass shooting at your university, these sounds to you are deadly serious. And so
yes, I told you guys, literally, there was an incident when I traveled to Germany, and I told you guys this story. I'll speed run through it so I don't waste too much time. One of those cherry bombs went off, and I was like, oh my God. I dropped to the ground, freaked out. Everybody looked at me and laughed. They're like, bro, get up. It's just it's a Polish firework, you know, like, chill out. And I'm like, a Polish firework? Bro, the ground rumbled. The windows were shattering. There was some like, you know, shock waves and stuff sent through the streets a little bit. Everybody was acting like it was a normal day in paradise because it was like a playful thing. But I didn't know that. I thought something serious was about to take place because, you know, that's how America's messed me up.
Every New Year's in Berlin, there's basically 3 groups of people who get triggered by these fireworks and explosions. Pets, Americans, and the people who lived in Berlin in 1945.
Oh, dang. All right, so let's go ahead and look at these comments because I really want to see what the comment section was cooking. If you guys have some ideations of, you know, or variations of experiences that correlate with my experience or this gentleman's experience, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if you've witnessed us Americans out there freaking out over something that you thought was no big deal, but it had definitely something to do with some trauma that we brought from our respective country to to you guys. Let me know in the comments down below, because this will be a pretty interesting conversation we have in the comment section. Y'all do what to spaghetti? Listen, I had the same reaction when I saw it. How the hell are you cutting up your spaghetti like that and not having a dang seizure? That don't make no sense, Chief. Why are you cutting up your spaghetti? Twirl it like a normal person, okay? Now, I do know people who cut their spaghetti like that. They get scissors when they eat spaghetti. Like, they'll have a fork and they'll have some freaking scissors. That's insane. That should be a crime. Getting a therapist in Germany opened my eyes. She told me most of her US patients have severe PTSD after seeing me have a panic attack. And honestly, that's the sad truth. That's a reality. I mean, no matter where you are in the United States, because you would think it's limited to the cities and areas that have high crime, right? It can be literally anywhere, anytime, any place. And it is very, very common. Very common. You don't know when someone will road rage and shoot into your car. You don't know when someone will crash out and blast up a grocery store or a popular concert or some type of concert adjacent event. You just don't know. It can happen anytime, any place. And many Americans are constantly on edge. We're very skeptical. We're friendly, but we're skeptical.
Living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I live in Paris, and 2 months ago I got hit by a taxi.
Whoa!
Relatively hard.
Yikes!
I fell down on the street. All these people came, and they picked me up. They brought me over to a bench.
Whoa.
Someone from a restaurant brought me a glass of water.
Wow.
Another woman gave me a handful of coins, and I was like,
wow.
I don't need your money. It's okay. And she
oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
Sweetheart, this is your money. It fell out of your pockets when you got hit by the taxi. And I was like,
damn, that taxi hit the Mario coins out of her, yo. That's crazy. All seriousness, I'm glad she's okay. That's insane. Taxis, man, no matter where you go, taxis go crazy. Here in South Korea, those taxis, bro, if you do not get out of their way, they'll make sure you meet your maker very quickly, okay?
Sonic the Hedgehog vibes, great. The man who hits me goes to call the ambulance, and I said, stop. Do not call the ambulance. That will cost me $3,000 to $5,000 because that's what an ambulance costs in America.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he was like, what are you talking about? An ambulance is €7.
Huh? What? Wait, hold on. Wait, whoa. €7 for an ambulance? Okay, hold on. We got to talk about this. I have a story, right? And I've told this story in many videos on this channel. For my regular viewers, you guys have heard this story more times than I can probably count. So I'm going to say it again, but I'll do the Spark Notes version of this. I had an incident in the States where I may or may not have drank a little too much, and it resulted in me having to go to the hospital. I was in an ambulance and I freaked out for two reasons, because I knew the ambulance would be really expensive. I just didn't know how expensive it was going to be, right? Mind you, the place where I was picked up was 2 minutes away from the hospital. 2 minutes! Well, after I get, taken to the hospital and stuff, and I go through the whole the shebang, I get my hospital bill in the mail about a few days later. I'd say almost a week later. I look at the breakdown of the expenses, right? Now, the overarching hospital bill was like $20,000, $30,000, and I know you guys probably should have brick hearing that price, but hear me out. When I looked at how much the ambulance cost, it was about $3,000. About $3,000 if I remember correctly. It could have been $5,000, but basically about $3,000 for a 2-minute ambulance ride. Okay, I could have called an Uber and saved a crap ton of money. Yeah, that's exactly why we freak out. I'm so serious. That is a reality in the United States. Okay, from all Americans, one thing that you could be black, white, yellow, green, purple, you could be Christian, you could be atheist, pagan, whatever, and all of us freak out when we look at those medical bills, man. That is a reality for us.
I was like, oh my God, remind me to twist my ankle on my way home from the club. And they'll give me an IV so I won't be hungover the next day?
That's cool.
Catch me at the hospital. This is lit.
The thing is, we shouldn't even have to worry about stuff like that. And yet here we are. You guys know the song and dance, man. You guys make fun of our healthcare more than, anything. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Think about it. $3,000 I had to pay for a 2-minute ambulance ride. $3,000. Do they use gold as fuel? Man, look, if you're charging me $3,000, there better be like a masseuse in the ambulance. You better be playing like the world's greatest movie and serving me like filet mignon and like while I'm getting wheeled to this hospital. I better have first class times 12 service in that 2 minutes it takes for you to get me from point A to point B. Otherwise, I don't want it. You know what's crazy? I think one of the things that people hate the most is when other people call an ambulance for them when they're in a time of need in the United States for the reason that they know that it's expensive and they can't afford the hospital bill on the back end. Like if I got hit by a car, the last thing I want is an ambulance because I don't want to pay that hefty fee on the end, right? Like, yeah, I want to be taken care of and whatever, but I would rather call an Uber and to get me to the hospital and stuff than an ambulance. That's sad. That's so sad. Only get hit by a car in a foreign country. Getting hit by a car in the United States damn near is the equivalent of taking out a home loan. Y'all pay for ambulances? Hold up, y'all don't? Okay, be so for real. In the comments down below, how many of you guys pay an ambulance fee when you have to use an ambulance to go to the hospital? Let me know in the comments. And what does that price point look like for you? What generally is the cost of an average medical bill for any of you guys out over there in any country throughout Europe? Let me know.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America...
I'm an American living in Italy.
Whoa.
I've lived in Asia. I've lived in Australia.
I'm in Asia right now.
And sure, there's lots of things that still confuse me. The metric system. Why are we the only ones that use Fahrenheit? But you know what really grinded my gears? When I was working in Vietnam, doing work exchange at a hostel, and I was asked to write the date down. And I wrote down, it was February 9th, 2019. So I wrote,
Oh, she even said it in the format that we have it in America. Month, day, year. The most diabolical way to write a date. In Korea, it's year, month, day. In a lot of places, it's day, month, year. But the United States is like, let's just fuck it up. Let's just month, day, year. That don't make no damn sense, no rhyme, no reason. That's just what it is.
2/9/2019. And my coworker looked at me. She was Vietnamese, very confused, and she came over and made it 9/2/2019. And I was like, "Are we in a different planet? Like, why did you just do that?" And she goes, "We do the day, the month, the year.
Yeah, smallest to largest.
Your country is the only country in the world that does the month, the day, the year."
That's crazy.
And it makes so much more sense with the day, the month, the year.
Smallest to largest.
We gotta feel special and go the month, the day, the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta feel special and use Fahrenheit over Celsius, feet over meters.
Yeah, dude.
But the day, the month, the year, it just makes so much more sense, dude. Shit.
Yo, she's speaking facts, bro. It's funny. That's what another thing I realized when I traveled overseas and stuff, and realized like how much America messed me up. I'm like, whoa, like the measuring systems, dude. It's all in it's like all the metric system. It's the metric system. I have to learn the metric system, and I learned it like a little bit in school, right? Like we obviously covered it, but since everything is measured in feet, eyelashes, hair follicles, kneecaps, and elbows, I was so used to using the imperial system that when I had to turn my goofy ass around and use the metric system, I was like, huh? And then using Fahrenheit all my life and having to transition to Celsius, they're like, oh, it's so hot. It's 40 degrees outside. I'm like, 40 degrees? Bust out the damn jacket. It's cold as fuck. It's cold as hell. Like, what are you talking about? It's hot. It's 40 degrees. But it's 40 degrees Celsius, so of course it's hot. She's cooking. And of course, with the date format, that is a tale as old as time. I don't know why the United States insists on using a date format that is honestly abominable. It just makes more sense to do smallest to largest or largest to smallest. Keep it simple. Smallest unit, day, then mid-size unit, month, then biggest unit, year. It's logical. And that's exactly what I said. It makes logical sense to format it that way. But of course, you know, it's America, the greatest country in the world. So of course we're not going to do it that way. Or the 24-hour clock. In America, they call that military time, while most of the world just calls it time. Yeah, I know. It's so funny. I was one of the people that called it military time. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's military time. Wait a minute. Why does the whole world use military time? Is the whole world in the U.S. military? Huh? I'm cooked. All right. But it's cool pointing out the things that I've historically messed up on and had wrong for such a long time. I'm telling you, If you get out and travel, it will change your literal life. Also, fun fact, the metric system was literally invented so that everyone could use the same measurements and no one would get confused. But of course, America's like, no. Why would that be fun? That wouldn't be any fun. Let's ramp up the confusion a little bit. Okay, you know what? I can measure how tall I am. I'm about 12 shoulders high. I'm about 12 shoulders tall. That individual over there is about 2.5 cows long. How about that?
Currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
2008 or 9, 20 years old, Munich, Germany.
Wow.
City passes the vibe check, no doubt. But I didn't have anyone with me. And I'm trying to get cigarettes from a machine. My ID doesn't work. Cop shouts from across the street. He's on his way to me. Hey, you, sir, is there anything I can help you with? And immediately no, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. I'm getting out of here anyway. And I keep it moving. And he's like, no, hey, you. And I keep it pushing. Like, hey, you? Nah, get the fuck out of here. And the next cop stops me, and I immediately drop everything that's in my hands as I take my hands out of my pockets so I don't get shot. And so he ends up buying me a pack of cigarettes, bringing me to the nearest bar, explaining to me that they go to 4 years of college to do this, get paid $50,000 a year more than our cops.
Yep.
And bought me a drink.
American currently living abroad.
You see, the reason why that's such a big deal is because there is such a strong sense of hostility between cops and civilians in the United States. It's actually insane, right? I have a funny story that I've told a few times on this channel, but for my new audience and new viewers, this might tickle your pickle a little bit. So, I had just gotten my driver's license. I was driving through the city of Tucson, Arizona. And as I was driving, right, I guess I was going maybe 5 over the speed limit, and there was a cop that flashed his lights at me. And I was listening to some trap music and stuff in my car and everything, and I panicked. I freaking panicked, right? The cop that was on his patrol bike busted out his megaphone and he's like, pull over at your earliest convenience. So I pull over into this neighborhood immediately, right? I switch my music from the trap music I was listening to classical music. I had a sunroof above me, right? I open up the sunroof. I roll down all the windows in my car. I stick my right hand out of the sunroof and my left hand out of the driver's side window. Jazz hands, okay? And the cop gets off his bike, walks up to the car, looks at me, and I am sweating profusely, right? And he just busts up laughing. He is cackling like he's seen the funniest thing in his entire life. He's like, dude, relax. Relax, bro. You were going 5 over the speed limit. And I'm like, I was freaking out. Because, of course, on social media, you see people getting blasted away by cops. You see cops getting, blasted down by civilians. And so it's always a very hostile situation. And, American cops don't have any de-escalation training. So any minor inconvenience can send your goofy ass to the clouds. So I was reasonably worried. And of course, I'm not sure if y'all can tell, but your boy is black. All right. So I thought I was extra cooked. He'd be like, oh, this guy got a bazooka in his trunk or something. So I was freaking out. Right. Well, he was laughing his butt off and he's like, bro, just give me your license and registration and we'll call it good. And I'm like, I'm reaching for my license, sir. He's like, oh, my God, bro. The theatrics are killing me, dog. You don't have to do all that. So I slowly put my hands in the car, visible so he could see them, because still, but if it's a trick, pull out my little wallet, I pull out my license, give it to him, and then I reach, just because I know that that's how a lot of interactions go down, like a lot of misunderstandings and blah, blah, blah. I always keep my license and registration. Well, first, my license is always right up on me, right? I put it like in the little cubby on the left-hand side driver door. And I always keep my registration in the little mirror, like the little fold-out mirror thing on the top of the roof right here. So I pulled that out and I'm like, here you go, sir. He looks at my stuff. He was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to give you a ticket. Just, a warning, because that was funny. That was one of the funniest interactions I've ever had. I'm over here panicking and stuff. And he's like, why did you switch your music? And I'm like, oh, I'm sick. He heard my music. My music was loud, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, I'm like, I don't know. I just, I overreacted. I'm so sorry, sir. He's like, dude, don't apologize. relax. We're not all bad, you know? And that moment, I felt like a complete idiot. I'm like, why did I react like that? But I understand why I reacted like that. You probably understand why I reacted like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at these comments. And well-trained police equals more civilian police trust, which equals less crime. Kind of funny how it fixes itself if you fix the core problem. Absolutely. Now, obviously, it doesn't equal zero crime, but it equals less crime. You know, it equals less deaths too. Wait, in the US, you don't have a police university for 4 years? Child, they just defunded the police. What you mean? Whatever we had in place before that wasn't working, it is currently now not working times 10. See, that's the backwards ideology I don't understand. People hate the police so much in the United States, and I get why, that they're like, you know what would fix our problem? If we gave them less resources to work with. They already had the option to opt out of de-escalation training, and now you're giving them less resources? So what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna make worse decisions because now they have even less resources to train people effectively, to police society effectively. So now you'll have people with a correction officer level training, which is pretty much going online and filling out some PowerPoint thing, clicking through a PowerPoint real quick and then saying, cool, I'm a police officer now, interacting in hostile situations, not knowing what to do, and blasting people away to the moon without questioning anything. That's insane. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. But this was a short video, you guys. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. There are a lot of things that Americans like myself have gone through that have just generally messed us up when it comes to interactions and stuff like that, that we have brought with us to other countries. And we realize, like, man, I guess we don't really have to live like that. I would like to be able to go to my country and say, wow, this country is safe, this country is amazing. But currently, it just feels like that is not the sentiment that I'm getting from the United States right now. If you guys disagree with my point, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys have experienced or have witnessed Americans experience out there in the vast world, and maybe how it probably tied into some trauma regarding like Americans realizing how badly they got messed up from their own country.